You've been there. Things are going well. You're connecting, laughing, building something real. You feel a sense of hope, a glimmer of a future together. Then, out of nowhere, she does something confusing. Maybe she cancels plans last minute with a flimsy excuse. Or she picks a seemingly pointless fight over something trivial. Or she makes a subtle jab that feels like a test of your patience. Or, perhaps most insidiously, she suddenly pulls back, creates distance, just when you thought you were getting closer. Your gut reaction is often frustration, confusion, or even anger. You think, why is she being so difficult? Why is she pushing me away? Is she losing interest? Does she even care? You rack your brain trying to figure out what you did wrong, or how to appease her, how to fix it. You might chase harder, try to be even nicer, even more accommodating. You think you're showing her how much you care, how much you want this to work. But what if I told you that in these moments, you're not dealing with a difficult woman, or a woman who's losing interest? What if I told you that in these exact situations, she's actually doing something far more fundamental, far more primal, and utterly crucial to the long-term success of your relationship? Today, I'm going to reveal the brutal, counterintuitive truth that 97% of men completely miss. She's testing an invisible boundary to see if you'll stay or leave. This isn't about manipulation. This is about an unconscious, biological screening process that women use to determine a man's true strength, self-respect, and commitment. It's her way of figuring out if you're a man she can respect, a man who can lead, and a man who can provide genuine security. I've coached countless men through this exact dynamic, and the patterns are shockingly consistent. And by the end of this video, you will understand why these tests happen, the specific forms they take, the devastating consequences of failing them, and most importantly, the actionable steps you can take to pass these tests, build unwavering respect, and create a deep, lasting attraction that will transform your relationships forever. Stay with me, because understanding this invisible boundary is the most critical lesson you'll learn if you want to build truly successful and fulfilling relationships with women. Let's start by deconstructing a common misconception. When a woman engages in these behaviors, the late cancellations, the subtle criticisms, the emotional outbursts, the sudden distancing, many men immediately label her as difficult, crazy, high maintenance, or playing games. This is a convenient narrative because it places all the blame and responsibility on her, allowing the man to feel like a victim of her unpredictable nature. But this perspective is not only unfair, it's fundamentally inaccurate, and it completely disempowers you. When you dismiss her behavior as simply difficult, you miss the profound underlying psychology at play. You miss the opportunity to understand her, to grow, and to actually build a stronger connection. The truth is, these behaviors are rarely random acts of malice. More often, they are unconscious probes. They are her system, often without her conscious awareness, trying to gather crucial information about you. She's not trying to make your life harder. She's trying to assess your character, your resolve, and your capacity to handle challenges. She's trying to answer fundamental questions like, does he have a backbone, or will he crumble under pressure? Does he respect himself enough to stand up for himself, or will he be a doormat? Is his commitment genuine, or will he abandon me at the first sign of trouble? Can he handle my authentic self, even my less desirable parts, or will he run? Does he have a strong sense of self, or will he let me dictate his entire reality? These are not trivial questions. For a woman, especially from an evolutionary perspective, these questions determine the safety, stability, and long-term viability of a partnership. Her subconscious is literally trying to determine if you are a worthy mate, a capable leader, and a secure attachment figure. So, when she tests you, she's not being difficult. She's being human. She's engaging in a deeply ingrained biological process to ensure her well-being and, if children are in the picture, the well-being of future generations. To label her as difficult is to willfully ignore this profound reality and condemn yourself to repeating the same frustrating patterns in every relationship. It's time to stop seeing her as the problem and start understanding the dynamic she's inviting you into. To truly grasp the significance of these tests, we need to delve into a bit of evolutionary psychology. This isn't about excusing bad behavior, but about understanding the deep, primal drives that shape human attraction and relationship dynamics. From an evolutionary standpoint, men and women have faced different challenges and developed different survival strategies. For men, the imperative was often to compete for resources and status. For women, the imperative was to select a mate who could provide protection, resources, and stability, especially during vulnerable periods like pregnancy and childrearing. This isn't about modern gender roles, it's about millions of years of biological programming. Think about it, a woman invests significantly more biologically in reproduction. She carries the child, endures childbirth, and often bears the primary responsibility for early childrearing. This makes mate selection incredibly high stakes. She cannot afford to choose a weak, unreliable, or easily swayed partner. Her survival, and the survival of her offspring, literally depend on her ability to accurately assess a man's quality. So, how does she do that? Through observation and, yes, through tests. These tests are her subconscious way of determining if you possess the qualities of a high-value, secure partner. 1. Strength and leadership. Will you stand firm when challenged, or will you fold? Can you maintain your own frame and direction, or will you be easily swayed by her emotions or whims? She needs a man who can lead, not a man who needs to be led. 2. Self-respect and boundaries. Do you value your own time, your own opinions, your own life? Or will you sacrifice everything for her approval? A man who doesn't respect himself cannot command the respect of others, including her. 3. Emotional stability and resilience. Can you handle her emotions, even the negative ones, without becoming reactive, angry, or withdrawing? Can you be her rock, or will you be tossed about by every emotional wave? 4. Commitment and reliability. Will you be there when things get tough, or will you abandon ship? These tests often push the boundaries of your patience and commitment to see if you're truly invested. When she pushes your boundaries, when she acts difficult, she's not necessarily looking for you to be a jerk. She's looking for you to be a man. She's looking for evidence that you are strong enough to handle her, strong enough to lead, and strong enough to create a secure environment. If you consistently fail these tests by being overly accommodating, constantly seeking her approval, or lacking any real boundaries, her subconscious registers you as low value. She might still like you, she might even love the comfort you provide, but the romantic attraction, the deep respect, and the desire to build a future with you will inevitably wither. She's not looking for a puppy dog, she's looking for a partner. And partners, by definition, stand on equal footing, with their own strengths and boundaries. This biological imperative is the invisible engine driving her to test you. So, what exactly is this invisible boundary she's testing? It's not a line in the sand you draw for her, it's the line you draw for yourself. It's the point beyond which you will not compromise your own self-respect, your personal integrity, your core values, your purpose, or your sense of self-worth. This boundary isn't always about grand gestures or dramatic ultimatums. In fact, it's often tested in the subtle, mundane interactions of daily life. It's about your frame, your internal reality, your sense of who you are, what you stand for, and what you will and will not tolerate. When she tests you, she's trying to see if your frame is solid, or if it's easily bent and broken by her whims, her emotions, or her demands. She's not trying to see if you're a bad person, she's trying to see if you're a strong person. Consider this, a man with a strong frame knows his value. He has a life, a purpose, and clear priorities. He understands that his time and attention are valuable resources. He doesn't need external validation to feel good about himself. He is grounded in his own reality. A man with a weak frame, on the other hand, often seeks external validation. His sense of self-worth is dependent on her approval. He's willing to sacrifice his own needs, his own plans, his own values, just to keep her happy or to avoid conflict. He lets her dictate his reality. The invisible boundary is your commitment to your own frame. It's your willingness to prioritize your own purpose and goals, not letting her become the sole center of your universe, but rather an addition to an already fulfilling life. Maintain your personal schedule and commitments, not dropping everything at her whim. Stand by your opinions and decisions, even if they differ from hers. Protect your emotional and physical space, not allowing her to disrespect your boundaries. Refuse to be manipulated or guilt-tripped, recognizing when her emotions are being used to control you. This isn't about being rigid or uncaring. It's about being authentic. It's about having a strong sense of self that she can respect and lean into. When you consistently demonstrate that you have an invisible boundary, a line you won't cross in compromising your self-respect, she learns that you are a man of substance. She learns that your yes means something, and your no means something. And that, paradoxically, makes her feel safer, more secure, and far more attracted to you. She needs to know that you are a man who will stand up for himself, because only then can she trust that you will stand up for her. These tests are often subtle, disguised as everyday interactions, which is why 97% of men miss them. But once you know what to look for, you'll start seeing them everywhere. Here are some of the most common forms of the invisible boundary test. 1. The last-minute change test. Scenario: you have plans. An hour before, she texts, "Hey, can we move dinner to X time?" Or actually, how about we just do Y instead? "My friend just invited me to Z." Or she cancels with a vague, flimsy excuse. Will you drop everything and bend over backward to accommodate her, even if it's inconvenient for you? Will you show that your time and plans are secondary to hers? Failing, immediately agreeing, expressing disappointment but still accommodating, trying to reschedule around her new whim. Passing, that's a shame. I was looking forward to our plans. Unfortunately, I'm already booked at that new time/can't do Y. Let me know when you're genuinely free next, and we can try to reschedule. You don't get angry, but you don't instantly reaccommodate. You subtly communicate that your time is valuable. 2. The emotional storm test. Scenario: she gets upset, seemingly over something small. She might become overly emotional, dramatic, or even try to provoke an argument. She might say something intended to push your buttons or make you feel guilty. Can you remain calm and grounded in the face of her emotional intensity? Will you be reactive, get angry, become defensive, or try to fix her emotions by sacrificing your boundaries? Failing, getting sucked into the drama, reacting with anger, trying to appease her by apologizing for things you didn't do, or abandoning your position to calm her down. Passing, remaining calm and empathetic, but not letting her emotional state dictate your actions or beliefs. I can see you're upset, and I'm here to listen, but I won't be yelled at / I won't change my mind on X just because you're emotional. Holding your frame while acknowledging her feelings. Sometimes, simply letting her process her emotions without trying to fix or control them is the strongest response. 3. The need for space test from her. Scenario: things are going great, you're getting close, and then she suddenly pulls back, takes longer to text, or says she needs space. Will you become needy, chase her, constantly text, or demand explanations? Or will you respect her space and continue living your life with purpose? Failing, chasing, panicking, sending multiple texts, trying to force communication. Passing, okay, I understand. Take the space you need. I'll be here when you're ready to reconnect. Then, genuinely go back to living your life. Focus on your purpose, your friends, your hobbies. Show, don't tell, that your happiness isn't solely dependent on her presence. This demonstrates confidence and a strong sense of self. 4. The criticism or challenge test. Scenario: she makes a subtle, or not so subtle, jab at your appearance, your choices, your job, or your personality. Are you really going to wear that? You always do X. Why do you spend so much time on Y? Will you become defensive, insecure, or try to justify yourself endlessly? Or will you playfully deflect, stand your ground, or simply dismiss the criticism without letting it rattle you? Failing, getting defensive, trying to explain yourself repeatedly, seeking her approval, getting visibly upset. Passing, playful deflection: "Oh, is this not my best look? Good thing I'm with you then, you make me look better by comparison." Calm dismissal: "I like it," or "That's my choice," or simply ignoring it if it's clearly a playful jab. The key is to show it doesn't affect your self-esteem. 5. The sacrifice your life test. Scenario: she implies or directly asks you to drop your established plans, hobbies, or friends for her. "I wish you didn't have poker night, I wanted to see you. Can't you just skip the gym today and come with me?" Will you prioritize her momentary desire over your own commitments and boundaries? Failing, consistently canceling your plans for her, making her the sole priority. Passing, "I'd love to, but I've already committed to poker night. How about we catch up tomorrow, or the gym is important to me, but I'd love to see you afterwards." This shows you have a life, you have commitments, and you value your own time. 6. The other men test. Scenario: she mentions other men who are interested in her, or talks about an ex, or even flirts with another man in front of you. Will you become jealous, insecure, or possessive? Will you try to compete or seek reassurance? Failing, getting visibly jealous, asking endless questions about the other men, trying to win her back by being overly nice or compliant. Passing, remaining calm and confident. "That's nice, good for you," or "I'm sure you attract a lot of attention." Showing that her value isn't your only option, and you trust yourself. A secure man doesn't need to control a woman's interactions to feel secure in himself. These tests are not about her being malicious, they are often subconscious probes to see how solid your foundation truly is. Recognizing them is the first step. Responding effectively is the path to respect and lasting attraction. Most men, when faced with these tests, instinctively respond in ways that are designed to avoid conflict or gain approval. They try to be nice, to be accommodating, to placate her. They believe that by doing so, they are showing her how much they care, how committed they are. But this is a catastrophic miscalculation. Failing these tests, repeatedly, leads to a cascade of devastating consequences that erode the very foundation of attraction and respect. 1. Loss of respect. This is the immediate and most damaging consequence. When you consistently bend your boundaries, sacrifice your self-respect, and prioritize her whims over your own integrity, she loses respect for you. She sees you as weak, easily manipulated, and lacking a backbone. She might still like you, she might even pity you, but she won't respect you as a man. And without respect, romantic attraction cannot survive. 2. Loss of attraction and desire. Respect is the bedrock of attraction. When her respect for you diminishes, so does her desire. She might tolerate your presence, she might even enjoy your company as a friend or a comfort object, but the fiery passion, the thrill, the desire to be intimate with you will slowly die out. You become the nice guy who finishes last, not because you're a bad person, but because you've inadvertently killed the very spark that draws her to you as a romantic partner. 3. Taking you for granted. If you're always available, always agreeable, and always prioritize her needs above your own, you become predictable. Your time, your attention, your presence, these become infinitely abundant, and thus, their perceived value plummets. Why would she cherish something that costs nothing? Why would she chase something that's always waiting? She begins to take you for granted, seeing you as a given rather than a prized partner. 4. Becoming her emotional crutch or girlfriend. You might become her best friend, her confidant, the man she cries to about her problems with other men. She loves the comfort you provide, the emotional support, the constant validation. But this is a platonic love, not a romantic one. You've relegated yourself to the friend zone, a safe, non-threatening presence who she can rely on, but never truly desire as a lover. 5. She leaves, or stays but resents you eventually. One of two things will happen. She will either leave you for a man who does pass her tests, a man who embodies strength, self-respect, and boundaries, even if he's less outwardly nice. Or, she might stay, but the relationship will be devoid of passion, filled with subtle resentment, on both sides, and ultimately unfulfilling for both of you. She'll grow bored, frustrated, and feel a deep sense of unmet need for a strong partner. Failing these tests isn't just about a momentary awkward interaction. It's about a slow, insidious erosion of your value in her eyes. It communicates to her subconscious that you are not the strong, purposeful, and secure man she is biologically programmed to seek. And that, my friends, is why understanding and passing these invisible boundary tests is not just important, it is absolutely essential for any man who desires a truly passionate, respectful, and lasting relationship. The stakes are far higher than you realize. This might feel overwhelming, but here's the empowering truth: you have the power to change this dynamic. Passing these tests isn't about playing games or becoming a jerk. It's about authentic self-respect, confidence, and integrity. It's about becoming the man she wants to respect, the man she wants to pursue. Here are the actionable steps to reclaim your power and transform her perception of you. 1. Cultivate your purpose and passion, the foundation. This is the absolute bedrock. Have a life that is rich, fulfilling, and exciting independent of any woman. Invest deeply in your career, your hobbies, your fitness, your personal growth, your friendships. Why it works: when you have a strong purpose, your availability naturally becomes limited and therefore more valuable. She won't be the center of your world, but an amazing addition to it. This shows you have a strong frame that exists regardless of her. 2. Know your values and non-negotiable boundaries. Before you can uphold a boundary, you need to know what it is. What are your personal limits? What are your core values? What will you absolutely not tolerate in a relationship? Examples: I won't be yelled at. I won't drop my plans last minute for a non-emergency. I won't tolerate disrespect from my partner. My time with my friends is important to me. Why it works: this clarity gives you the internal compass to navigate her tests. When you know your line, it's easier to stand on it. 3. Communicate assertively, not aggressively or passively. When a boundary is tested, respond calmly, clearly, and firmly. Avoid anger, defensiveness, or passive-aggressive behavior. Aggressive: how dare you? You always do this. Weakens your position, escalates conflict. passive, well, I guess I can change my plans. Fails the test, loses respect. Assertive, I understand you want to change plans, but I've already committed to X. I'm not available then. We can find another time. Or, I can see you're upset, but I won't be spoken to that way. Let's talk when we can both be calm. Why it works, assertiveness demonstrates strength and self-respect without being controlling or abusive. It shows you can handle conflict maturely. 4. Be willing to walk away, the ultimate boundary. This is the most crucial, and often the hardest, aspect of passing the test. You must genuinely be willing to walk away from the relationship if your fundamental boundaries are repeatedly violated or if she consistently shows a lack of respect. This doesn't mean you want to leave, or that you're looking for an excuse. It means your self-respect and your future happiness are more important than staying in a relationship that compromises them. Why it works, this willingness is the invisible boundary she's truly testing. If she senses you will compromise anything to keep her, she knows she has full control. If she senses you have a line you won't cross, a point where your self-respect dictates you must leave, that's when she truly respects your strength and commitment to yourself. It's the ultimate proof that your frame is solid. 5. Lead the frame. In a healthy dynamic, the man often leads the frame. This doesn't mean being controlling, but having a clear direction, taking initiative, and setting the tone for the relationship. Examples: suggesting dates, taking charge of planning, having a vision for your future, making decisions, initiating intimacy. Why it works, it shows confidence and competence. Women are attracted to men who can lead and take charge, not men who constantly look to them for direction. 6. Maintain emotional regulation. When she tests you, it can be tempting to react with anger, frustration, or neediness. Resist this urge. Practice mindfulness, deep breathing, and grounding techniques to stay calm and centered. Respond, don't react. Why it works, your ability to remain calm and composed in the face of her emotional probes demonstrates immense strength and stability. It shows you're not easily rattled. 7. Be consistent, not predictable. Consistently uphold your boundaries. Don't pass one test and then fail the next. This builds trust and reinforces your strong frame over time. However, don't become predictable in your availability or actions. Keep an element of mystery and spontaneity. Why it works, consistency builds trust in your character. Unpredictability keeps her engaged and prevents boredom. 8. Prioritize yourself. This isn't selfish, it's essential. Take care of your physical and mental health. Pursue your interests. Spend time with your friends and family. Why it works, a man who prioritizes himself is a man who respects himself, and self-respect is the foundation of earning respect from others. It shows her that your life is full and valuable, and she is an addition to it, not the sole source of it. Understanding the invisible boundary and how women test it is not about learning manipulative tactics. It's about profound self-awareness, self-respect, and a commitment to your own integrity. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, not just for her, but for you. When you consistently pass these tests, you send a powerful, undeniable message to her subconscious: I am a strong, confident man who respects himself. I have my own purpose, my own boundaries, and my own life. I choose to be with you, but I will not compromise who I am for your approval. I am a man who can be trusted to lead, to protect, and to build a secure future. And when she receives that message, her respect for you will soar, her attraction will deepen, and her desire to be a true partner in your life will blossom. She will feel safer, more cherished, and more connected than ever before, precisely because she knows you are a man of substance, a man who stands firm. The choice is yours. You can continue to be confused, frustrated, and disempowered by these invisible tests, constantly wondering why your relationships fail. Or, you can embrace this truth, transform your mindset, and reclaim your power. You can become the man who understands the unspoken language of attraction, the man who confidently upholds his invisible boundary, and the man who attracts and keeps the kind of high-quality woman who truly values and respects him. It starts today. Start observing. Start setting boundaries. Start being willing to walk away if necessary. Become the man who knows his worth, and watch how her perception of you, and the quality of your relationships, transforms forever. What's your experience with this? Have you recognized any of these tests in your past relationships, or perhaps even in your current one? What steps will you take to uphold your invisible boundary? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. Your insights help others. If this resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more profound truths about attraction and relationships, and share this video with a friend who needs to hear it. Thank you for watching. And remember, the invisible boundary isn't about her, it's about you. It's the line of your self-respect, and it's the key to unlocking true respect and lasting attraction.